And let's take a look first at the caste-wise breakup of Bihar to really understand where voters are moving in this election. I start with the Brahmin voters of Bihar, of consolidation of 8% in favor of the BJP-LJP alliance, 32% Brahmins indicating they would vote for the BJP. The JDU losing out. Remember in the last elections, Nitish Kumar's party had managed to pick up a fair amount of Brahmin vote, but that is because they were at that time in an alliance with the BJP, and therefore on the seats where there was a JDU candidate, even the Brahmins voted for the JDU. This time, of course, that's not happening, which is why the biggest loss, in fact, is to Nitish Kumar's Janata Dal United. Let's now come to the Rajput voters of Bihar, a very influential, dominant community in the state. A massive 53% of them, increase of 22% over last time, indicating that they would vote for BJP and Narendra Modi. Once again, the Janata Dal United being a big loser, losing out on 17% of the Rajput votes that they had. Let's now come to the Bhumihars. Another upper caste, very dominant, very influential on the ground. 47% of them. These are big numbers, mind you. A gain of 12% and the Janata Dal United losing out 24%. And I explained to you why that's happening. Because earlier, Nitish Kumar was in an alliance with the BJP on seats where a JDU candidate was contesting. Even the upper caste voted for the JDU. Now that's changing dramatically, which all the figures we've seen so far show a massive gravitation away from the Janata Dal United. Let's look at the other upper castes for Bihar. The BJP picking up 28% more votes than they had last time. Once again, the JDU losing out the most, followed by the Congress. Let's now come to the Yadav voters of Bihar, and this is very interesting to my mind. In fact, it's by far the most interesting because Rahul over here also has Lalu with him. So the figures that you see are for Lalu and for Rahul, which is the RJD and the Congress. They are picking up 29% of the Yadav voters, 11% less than last time. The BJP and the LJP picking up 47% of the Yadav voters. That's 25% more than last time. The JDU losing out, which essentially means that this is very important psychologically, that the Yadavs are voting more for the BJP-LJP alliance than they are for the Congress-RJD alliance. There again, a tectonic shift. And I believe in this very strongly, even though Dr. Lahiri wants to be very circumspect. If both of what we've seen, Jatavs moving away from the BSP, Yadavs moving away from the RJD, voting for the BJP, if that's happening, this is very, very big news. If it's sustainable, it's even bigger news, but in this election, at least that's what the numbers are reflecting. Let's now come to the Kurmis and the Koris, and this is the core vote bank of the Janata Dal United. This is what the JDU banks on the most. So Nitish Kumar holding out to his Kurmi-Kori vote bank, but this is a weapon, an arrow that Narendra Modi is firing, and that is hurting Nitish Kumar the most. Even amongst the Kurmis and the Koris, the BJP being the preferred party, this will hurt Nitish Kumar the most because this is his vote bank. This is the community he belongs to. These are the people who he thought or would have hoped would be his closest and fiercest supporters. Instead, we're seeing them gravitate towards the BJP. The Congress gaining some, but it's basically Narendra Modi that is gaining the most amongst the Kurmis and the Koris. Let's now come to the other OBC castes of Bihar. Exactly the same situation. We're seeing JDU hold on to where they were, the BJP being the biggest gainer, the Congress being a big loser, losing 9% of the other OBC votes. Remember, Ramdev has been very active. It's in Bihar that he has a very strong network. Modi has been trying to put up his image as a backward leader. All of that seems to be working for the BJP, according to the results of the Cicero opinion poll. Let's now come to the Dalit caste. I'll start with the Jatavs first, the most predominant Dalit caste. Now, this is interesting because remember, Paswan, who's the Dalit leader, is in alliance with Narendra Modi. That seems to be helping BJP and Modi pick up 29% of the Jatav vote, which is 14% more than last time. Others, net where they were, but it's the BJP that seems to be gaining on account of the alliance with the LJP. Let's now come to the Pasi voters. Amongst the Pasis, we're seeing a similar trend. Just look at the big jump. When the same sample was asked, who they voted for the last time and who are they voting for this time? 30% more people said they'll vote for BJP this time than last time. That's a big jump in favor of BJP and the Narendra Modi. Let's now look at the other Dalit castes of Bihar. Over here, a similar trend, 17% extra saying they would vote for Narendra Modi and the BJP. Congress losing some, JDU losing in a big way. The Paswan alliance seems to be working well on the ground for Narendra Modi, because the Dalit vote bank has so far not been the biggest advocates of the BJP. Both in Uttar Pradesh and in Bihar, we're seeing exactly the same thing. Can we take the figures for the Muslims also, please? Let's take the Ashraf Muslims to begin with. The RJD and the Congress are in an alliance. Taken together, they had 52% of the Ashraf Muslim votes. That's coming down to 40, a loss of 12% for the Congress. The BJP and the LJP doing reasonably well, gaining 11% of the Ashraf Muslim vote from what they picked up last time. The JDU picking up 31%, a gain of 11. Now remember, what Nitish Kumar would have essentially hoped for when he severed the alliance with Narendra Modi is that this 40% would gravitate towards this 31%. He would have hoped this would be 50%, 60%. That hasn't happened. The RJD still has more of the Muslim vote. So while the vote has been split to some extent, 11% are voting more for the JDU than last time, it hasn't happened to the extent that Nitish Kumar would have liked. In that sense and to that extent, his gamble of severing ties with the BJP has come a cropper. Let's look at the Pasmanda votes. Now here again, it's the RJD and the Congress which have the biggest chunk of the Pasmanda votes, 44% for the Congress. The JDU in fact has lost 2% of the Pasmanda vote that they had last time. The BJP is picking up 7% extra. Now, I want to go across first to Ashok Lahiri. Nitish Kumar's gamble seems to have flopped. Kurmis, Koris, OBC voters, all of them gravitating towards the BJP. What are you making of this, sir?
Rahul, I see a pattern here. Like in UP, what you find is in Bihar, you can ask the question, is it in any community that the BJP is getting less? The answer is no. The extent may be different. The second factor that you have to take into account, the alliances have changed. Congress is with RJD. BJP is with Lok Janshakti Party and Kushwaha's, what is it called? Rashtriya, what is it called? The party's name? Rashtriya something. Now only Nitish Kumar is alone. So there it seems, and you don't need more than 50% to win a seat. All you need is more than the others. So it seems that if this voting pattern is valid, the worst sufferer will be the Janata Dal United, Nitish Kumar. So my reading is that this alliance, together with this tide towards the BJP, is going to give us a major shift in BJP's fortunes.
I want to introduce our guests for our discussion on Bihar. MJ Akbar, national spokesperson of the BJP, one of India's foremost editors, journalists. With us also Pawan Verma, works very closely with Nitish Kumar as his advisor. We still have with us Dilip Padgaonkar on this broadcast. But I want to go across first to Mr. Akbar, because what we're seeing is across caste, across religion, a massive consolidation in favor of the BJP and Narendra Modi. It seems Nitish's decision to sever ties with the BJP because of Narendra Modi is backfiring on him badly. Mr. Akbar.
Well, Rahul, I hope that after your opinion poll, all those who keep seeing or saying that there is no Modi wave, I hope they will fall silent. You know, the Bihar statistics are a classic example of what precisely the wave means on the ground. Now, there are many statistics here to astonish some, to shock perhaps others, including maybe Nitish Kumar. But I find it absolutely fascinating that the Muslim vote for the BJP has shot up by 11%, and that is from 12 to 23%. It's really, really unbelievable. And this is absolute evidence that the politics of fear that has been conducted by Congress and Lalu is it's crumbling before the Modi promise of employment and Modi promise of modernization of education and Modi promise of giving the girl child special attention, and Modi promise of ending this huge racket that is going on in Waqf and so on and so forth. Real issues. This is the triumph of real issues over the politics of fear and sensationalism.
Okay.
One of the things that people are not actually estimating accurately, I think, in all the psephology, is that what precisely is the impact on seats that the great difference between Modi for Prime Minister against all his competitors. Now in Bihar, he is outperforming his competition by 3 to 1. By 3 to 1. Now how much of that is actually going to translate into increase of number of seats is one thing that is being underestimated. And
we
this
don't
is
want to
perhaps
give away
why
the seat
number
figures
of
just
seats you're
now,
giving to
Mr. Akbar.
BJP alliance.
No, hold it. Just
Okay,
maintain
all
the
right.
suspense just for a
Okay,
moment.
okay,
I will
okay.
come to the seats. I want to introduce also Manoj
All
Jha
right. No,
from the RJD and Pawan Verma.
I'm happy to play Agatha Christie with you. No problem.
Just a couple of minutes and we'll crack the mystery. I want to go across to Pawan Verma. He's looking very somber, very glum, not happy at all. I'm sure you'd like to dismiss the results of this poll. But the reality, Mr. Verma, is across caste, we're seeing Nitish Kumar's gamble backfire. Even amongst his co-constituents, there are more people wanting to vote for BJP and Narendra Modi. Are you prepared to concede that your gamble has backfired badly? Mr. Pawan Verma.
Rahul, please try and understand the ground reality of Bihar. Let me begin that a very well-known journalist, whom I am not naming on your program, told me today that while crossing through Nevada in the urban city, there were posters everywhere of Mr. Modi, and he stopped to speak to a cluster of people and asked them, so you have now voted for Mr. Modi? And the cluster of people who were there, hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go on, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well. Just go on.
The cluster of people said, no, we have voted for Nitishwa. But if we say this here in this bazaar with so many of his hardcore cadre around, we'll probably be beaten up. I want to explain to you what has happened in Bihar. And by the way, if Mr. Modi is winning, this is not a matter of gloating or saying you are right or I am wrong. Let me tell you, I was surprised that you are saying Mr. Nitish Kumar's core constituency are Koiri and Kurmis. They are only a small fragment of the backward and extremely backward caste vote. Rahul, in Bihar, the extremely backward caste and the Mahadalits constitute somewhere between 35 to 40% of the electorate. There are no Jatavs. There are the Dalits consists of the Paswans, the Chamars and the Musahars. The Paswans are Mr. Ramvilas Paswan, but there is a shift away from him because he has joined the BJP. But the other Mahadalits and the EBCs together constitute 35% of the electorate.
So you are doing
Now,
exactly
given
what
the
Sudhindra
fact
Bhadoria did in the first hour of the show. He came up with his own opinion poll.
Please listen.
We're not here to discuss the Pawan Verma opinion poll.
You don't want to listen.
No, of course I want to listen to a
You don't want to
contrary
listen
position.
to the contrary point of view. I am giving it to you.
Yes.
I am giving it to you. Please give me 30 seconds more. I mean, I know the mood is to start sounding euphoric, but give the chance to an opposing view. Second point is, your survey itself shows that a significant number of the Yadavs have left the RJD. Therefore, where have they gone? Certainly it has weakened the RJD, not strengthened it. Your survey shows that the Muslim vote is divided. We believe it is more substantially today in favor of Nitish Kumar than the other way around. But nevertheless, it is divided. It weakens the RJD Congress. And I can tell you one thing for sure, and Mr. Akbar may or may not believe it in his current mood and current loyalties. There is going to be almost no Muslim vote for Mr. Modi. Mr. Modi, by omission or commission, is anathema for the minorities. And he has done nothing to rectify this image. So
Okay, that's what you'd like to believe. That is what your gut says, that's what your instinct says. The numbers indicate something different.
Last point. Now, last point only, that in your sampling size, and I am not faulting it, I'm sure it's well intentioned. In your sampling size, the kind of support at the ground level that Mr. Nitish Kumar has got right in the interior of the countryside among the most socially and economically depressed and oppressed communities often does not find voice enough.
Okay. Same
And I am
argument says
therefore saying
Mayawati.
to you that
There
the
is a
results-
parallel
the
over here,
results may
but I
still
want to go
surprise
across
you.
to Manoj Jha of the
The results may
RJD,
still
and I just
surprise
want our producers to pull out the figures for the Yadavs, because what Lalu Prasad would have hoped for was that his Yadav constituency would stay intact. We're seeing Muslims fragment, we're seeing also Yadavs fragment, choosing to vote more for the BJP than for the RJD, and if this is what the final numbers show, that's not good news at all for Manoj Jha, for the RJD, for Rahul or for Lalu Prasad. Mr. Jha.
Rahul, I will again not begin with faulting your methodology because that's the standard argument. I can take it on any other day. But today, first of all, let me clarify that for RJD, let's not confine the support base of RJD to Muslim and Yadavs. I mean, results will surprise you. Even if I look at your seat share, you put us at 15 to 19 and BJP 20 to 24. That's I mean, and I'll tell you that on the 16th of May, it shall be reversed, if nothing more. That is number one. Number two, let me also draw this through you to your audience, that we have been re-emphasizing that please take out this country from this person-centric politics, that too from a typical authoritarian right wing. And what amazes me most, that we have been reading MJ Akbar, and today I find MJ Akbar talking about this in most praiseworthy terms. The fact is that if you go to Bihar, talk to people, there is a fear, there is intimidation. And please never ever confine secularism to the issues of minorities only. In this country, 63% of the people have always voted for progressive ideas. They might have voted for different political parties, but they have summarily rejected BJP kind of politics, whether it is led by Vajpayee or led by Advani ji
But
or
you
led by
again
Modi ji.
talking about an
So
opinion
please,
poll which hasn't been done by Cicero. We're just discussing the results of the India Today group Cicero opinion poll. I want to take out the final vote share and the final seat share figures for Bihar. Can we have them up on our screen? First, I'll start with the vote share figures for Bihar. This is what the poll reflects. 38%. That's a massive vote swing in favor of the BJP and the LJP of 18% more than last time. And this is coming equally from Nitish Kumar and from the Congress RJD alliance. The Congress RJD losing 6%, Nitish Kumar losing 6%, all others losing 6%, all of it aggregating towards Narendra Modi. No wonder he's smiling so much in this picture that we've got over here. I want to go across on these figures first to Dilip Patgaonkar. An 18% vote share, positive vote share in favor of the BJP is a big change from last time. Do you think, apart from everything else, the LJP alliance has made a big difference in helping the BJP achieve these figures, Mr. Patgaonkar?
Without any question, there is no doubt whatsoever that the link up with Paswan has helped the BJP. But I want to make a completely different point, which is that for me, your figures show that this is probably the sunset of the phenomenon of Lohiaism and of Mandalism that reigned supreme for the greater part of the past few decades. I think Lohiite politics, which gave rise to parties and leaders like Mulayam Singh Yadav, Nitish Kumar, Lalu Prasad, etc., I think perhaps we are going to witness the end of this Lohiite era and the beginning of something else. The Congress, of course, was never much of a force in Bihar for several decades. So it's pointless even to speculate on what's going to happen to the Congress in Bihar. But you're quite right. I think once again you see an enormous amount of fluidity among various communities and various caste groups, including the minorities. And this fluidity at the moment appears to be in favor of the BJP because the message of the BJP, single point focus, development, I think that has caught on. Caught on also, of course, because of this huge, massive publicity drive, which appears to have had considerable success.
Okay, let's take a look at the final seat share figures for Bihar. this is what Cicero projects the Bihar numbers will look like. I'll start with the Congress RJD alliance, which is expected to bag between 15 and 19 seats. The BJP and the LJP together between 20 and 24. The JDU could come down to as little as between 0 and 2, which means utter decimation for the Janata Dal United. Remember, Dhananjay, if you get this wrong, Nitish Kumar is going to come after you and every other pollster who's been writing him off. But I want to put what Pavan Verma said about, this has happened with the DMK in Tamil Nadu, Mr. Akbar. You'd remember it, that people said, we are voting for the DMK, even though they went out and voted for the AIDMK, because they were fearful that these people who are coming and asking them questions could have been from the DMK government at that time. Do you think that could possibly happen? That because everyone's talking of a Modi wave, the Modi numbers are being inflated and the end result could be different? Mr. Akbar, let him speak first. Just 1 second, I'm coming to you, Mr. Verma. Mr. Akbar first.
No, I mean, you can only be afraid of somebody who's in power. You can't be afraid of somebody who's campaigning and is in opposition. I mean, Narendra Modi is only in power in Gujarat, nowhere else. And we are talking about Bihar, which is as far away politically and even geographically.
That's a very strong counter.
As you might get.
That's a very good counter. Pavan Verma must respond because you put this charge. Yes, Mr. Akbar, complete.
Yeah. No, I would like to stress that the vote has doubled. It has doubled from 20 to 38. And if you go and, and as the elections get nearer, this actually 38 could quite possibly go and cross 40. And that's the mood of the people. And, success breeds more success. And that's why I think that your numbers of 20 to 24 are actually a serious underestimate, but that doesn't matter. The numbers will be revealed on 16th May as it's indicated.
Pavan Verma, your sense of yes, Rahul. Your sense, Pavan Verma, of the complete decimation of the Janata Dal United, a mass gravitation of votes and seats away from the JDU. What are you making of this, Mr. Verma?
I believe, and of course you will dismiss it, I believe these results are laughable. The same results were posited in 2005, in 2009, in 2010. All those surveys placed JDU third, but you know what the results were. This time, I agree that there is a bigger fight. There have been 10 years of incumbency of this government. There is the massive amounts the BJP has plumped into this campaign, and there is the carrot of development, etc. But I believe, Rahul, genuinely, that the polls, such polls have inherent limitations in a place like Bihar, 11% urbanization only, and an elusive vote base which is not always accessible or caught in the net of polls. This being so, I can imagine this could be right, and there will be other elections to fight.
There are two important concessions from Pavan Verma. One, it could be right. There are other elections to fight. Even in the first answer, you made one comment which sort of gives it away. Gives away the fact that the JDU is preparing for inevitable defeat. But Manoj Jha wants to come in because we're seeing Yadav voters move away from the RJD.
No, I take your point wrongly.
Rahul,
I disagree with the false mood of triumphalism which has now begun to already characterize the BJP, including all kinds of new people who have joined it.
Okay, Manoj Jha.
Rahul, I have a bit of mathematical problem with your vote share and the seats which are getting translated. I find it little, say, logically also flawed, because similar kind of, if you look at the vote share, it doesn't speak very clearly and categorically about the seat share. There is some problem here, but that's a methodological issue. But the second, as far as fear from Mr. Modi is concerned, which you said was a very strong counter from MJ Akbar Sahab. Let me tell you, ask BJP leaders how intimidated they are because of this Modi phenomena. Leave aside people, leave aside communities. They are actually genuinely fearful of his rise. If he rises ever, which we don't believe. But ask BJP leaders, they are keeping their fingers crossed.
Okay.
Because they are not simply comfortable with this kind of things.
They are prone to violence without provocation. They have a supreme leader to worship now.
Those are other issues. Those are important issues. Will Narendra Modi usurp the rest of the BJP leadership? Will he become like an Indira
The
He has already
type
done
figure?
it. He has
Those
already
are
done
debates.
it.
Those
He
are
has already
important
done it.
debates. Right now we're discussing just the numbers. But Mr. Akbar, those are important debates, and that is a concern, that Narendra Modi becomes so big, so powerful on the back of these figures, that everybody else then comes under his shadow, and that having such an authoritarian figure may not be good for India. Mr. Akbar.
Well, you know, somebody has to make up their minds. Either there is no Modi wave and therefore there is nothing to worry about, as indeed your other people have been arguing, and I'm sorry to say, you know, it always helps not to get personal. That's a sign, sure sign of defensiveness. But I mean, either make up your minds. Either Narendra Modi is not winning, and if he is not winning, then there's nothing to worry about. And if he is winning, then you have to admit that.
Okay,
Let me
right
say
now we're
that
seeing
in a democratic system, in a democratic house, nobody can become, and these are all the kinds of fierce psychosis arguments which are really the last hope of the defeated.
Okay, we're
Please
seeing his
trust me,
opponents argue
nobody
this
is
both ways.
frightened. Everybody is cooperating.